Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video, or the Walking Dead The Ones Who Live video. So in this one here, I want to break down episode 4, the trailer for episode 4 anyways, and man, this trailer, this show right now is so incredible. And I was thinking about it, like, there are certain things that I want to happen in the next couple of episodes. We know where episode 4 is likely going to go. Episode 5 and 6, there are certain things that I would really like to see happen, and if certain moments happen, like, well, I won't get into everything here, but you know, like, obviously, if Morgan is at the end, if it's a cliffhanger, like, imagine Morgan on this show. Imagine just anything like that, right? Like, it would just be so incredible. So anything like that, a crazy cliffhanger and all of that. Honestly, I'm gonna look back on this show and really kind of view it as like, this is probably one of the best seasons of The Walking Dead, period. And I'm including the original show, which is insane to say, I know, really insane to say, but I mean, look at the quality of the show, like the writing, like everything about this show. It's so phenomenal. The Walking Dead has never been this good. Like, and I know that's crazy to say, but after episode 3, that really was like, that was it for me. That was the episode where I was like, okay, this show is absolutely incredible. And I really hope the next couple of episodes are as good. But man, like, episode 3 was the episode of The Walking Dead that I just, again, I do want to say, I do apologize for not reacting to the episode on Twitch. I was supposed to do that, but some personal stuff came up that I had to go and deal with. And the timing just did not work out. So I'm really disappointed in it, because this episode, like, out of all 3, I was like freaking out the entire time, like, especially the ending of episode 3. Rick versus Michonne, like, I put that in my title for episode 3 because, like, my episode 3 breakdown, because I was like, you know what, that is sort of what the episode is about. It literally is like Rick versus Michonne, and that's sort of where we're at going into episode 4. Like, they're both not on good terms right now, and I love what Michonne says in the trailer. She's like, we needed a timeout, and I just, like, I like the fact that she was like, you know what, I need to talk to him alone. He keeps, like, whenever he's around, he's always saying this and that. I can't just, like, say what I want to say. We need to just get away and talk for, like, a day or whatever. Like, we need to go through all this stuff here. So what she did at the very end of episode 3 was, like, really insane. But, like, man, I agree with Andrew Lincoln, because Andrew Lincoln said it was one of the best endings, or if not, like, the best ending that they've ever done. And I agree. I was shocked by that ending. I was like, what are you doing? So yeah, anyways, definitely make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. I'll be doing an ending scene reaction video after this, not reaction, but sort of breaking down that scene and talking about all that stuff. And then I'm going to do a Rick and RJ video, because that's going to be something that does come up in episode 4. So I want to talk about that and talk about some of the stuff that could come up there, because there's going to be quite a bit of stuff that does come up in episode 4. But obviously in this one here, we'll discuss it a little bit here, but there's a lot to break down in terms of the trailer. So obviously at the very end of episode 3, we see that Rick and Michonne escaped, and I mentioned it in my episode 3 breakdown. I wasn't sure of, you know, just what happened. I didn't know if, you know, Michonne just tried to jump, and so she just assumed that Rick would just sort of go with her, and so Rick went with her, right? But no, when you watch the scene, like, she takes Rick out of the helicopter. Like, she literally grabs him, and they both, like, jump out. So, you know, and it makes sense. Like, Rick wouldn't want to leave, I guess. And so, like, you know, Michonne just taking him and being like, you know what, we're gonna go somewhere and just talk about this here. Like, no more of this CRM stuff around us. Like, we need to talk about this stuff, right? And so, again, really crazy scene. And I mentioned a lot of the Rick versus Michonne stuff. Like, it's honestly kind of insane. Like, Rick actually tried to just end things with her. Like, he was like, it's over, you know, what we had is broken, this and that. And he was being so mean. I honestly, like, that's the stuff that I love, because I wasn't expecting that. I never thought that Rick would ever say that to Michonne, because the whole thing about Rick and Michonne is it's Rick and Michonne, right? Like, that stuff's never gonna happen, and it actually did happen, and it was like, whoa, like, it just made everything so entertaining. And I love the fact that Michonne is like, she's not giving up, but also it's not even that she's not giving up. Like, she does actually seem like, it's not that she's not giving up, because obviously she's not going to, but she's, like, hurt by it as well. Like, she actually got hurt by what he was saying, and she's also angry about it, right? She's also like, okay, right? That's why I love the final scene. That's why I love it so much, and I really cannot wait for episode 4. Like, all this stuff is boiling up right here. Like, they created so much tension between Rick and Michonne, where it was like, you know, they were trying to help each other, this and that, and then all of a sudden it just got to the point where they were like, Rick was trying to get rid of her and all this, and it just, Michonne's so angry with him. And now episode 4, it's gonna get insane. Like, they're gonna argue about so much stuff, but also it's not gonna be entirely all of that, obviously, right? They're gonna have a really like, crazy discussion, like, all the things that we wanted to see with Rick and Michonne, all the discussion about, you know, just what it's been like for Michonne with Rick gone, like everything about all of it. It's all going to be talked about in this episode. RJ, all of that. And so, obviously after episode 4, they're both going to be together and whatever. But right now, I kind of like the Rick versus Michonne aspect to it. It just makes everything a little more like, whoa, what is this, right? So I'm excited about this story right now. And again, in the trailer, Michonne says we needed a timeout. And judging by the shots in the trailer, it looks like obviously they're going to go into like this one building here. And it is like that sort of, I don't even know what it is. Is it like, yeah, I'm not entirely sure what it is, but it's some building. And I'm pretty sure the whole episode is just them in that building. Like they might leave at the very end or something. And it looks like there is some CRM stuff that does happen in the episode, but it looks like that is just sort of drama that will happen like later on at the end. Like I think Rick and Michonne are going to discuss a bunch of stuff. It's going to be pretty much the whole episode. And then by the end, the CRM is going to find out where they are and then they're forced to leave kind of thing, right? And whatever decision they have, do they go back or do they leave? Which I think they're going to leave. Obviously that'll happen at the end. So that's kind of how I see it going. It's going to be a perfect episode where you just sit with the characters. And again, like literally what Michonne says, we needed a timeout. Like that's so perfect because you do need that. The story is so crazy right now. And we just haven't had a time to get Rick and Michonne together in a scene, just talking about what's going on and all that, right? And so it's cool to actually get that now after everything they set up, right? Because Michonne's story in episode 3 was trying to figure out what is going on, and not even just with the CRM, but with Rick. Like she's just like, you're not the same person that I knew before, right? Like you used to be so, I keep saying confident, like Rick is still confident, but he's definitely changed, right? Like he's definitely not the same person. And so Michonne is trying to figure out who he is and like, is he actually wanting to like end things? Is he actually just wanting to stay here? Is he that person where he just wants to stay in this place? Because in the trailer, again, Rick is saying we need to go. Like we cannot stay here. And the reason why, and I think Michonne knows that, Rick is still the same person, but the reason why he's doing all this is because Jadis said, and that's exactly what he says to Michonne in the trailer. He says that Jadis will destroy our home if I try to leave. And Rick is trying to go back. He's like yelling at Michonne, and Michonne is like, you don't have to be so afraid. I really like, it's such an interesting thing to talk about because I'm trying to see like which side would I be on in this whole situation. I'm really trying to think, and I lean more towards Rick, I guess, but that's only because of a safety precaution. Obviously, you want to keep everyone in Alexandria, everyone back at your home safe, right? So that's what Rick is trying to do. Michonne, I will say in episode 3, she was very, very reckless, but it's because she doesn't know of the CRM yet, right? Like she doesn't know that they just what they are really. Like she can understand some stuff. She knows that Rick tried to escape, but I don't think she really knows, right? And so that's why when Michonne did that, Rick is like freaking out now. Like this is another attempt. Like this is really, really bad. This is gonna, like, I don't even know how I'm gonna fix this, right? So Michonne, I think also, as confident as she is and as much as she does want to fight back, I just think that she doesn't know everything that Rick has went through, right? Like Rick isn't just being scared for nothing. Like he has a legit reason. So there is that side to it too. So again, you can really see both sides, right? And that's why for me, I can't really, again, I think I lean more towards Rick's side because of the whole safety element to it. But again, that's why it's going to be really interesting to see them talk about all of this, because I really feel like they're just going to be like, because from Michonne's perspective, like this is the way I kind of view it. We know Rick's perspective. They've been sort of doing, what Rick has been wanting for the last however long, right? So from Michonne's side, in order to make Rick, side with Michonne and do what she wants to do, which is basically fight back, or again, I don't even know if that's what she wants, that's going to be really interesting because, obviously they could just leave. And that's the whole thing with all of this, right? Is like they can just leave, but it's not just Jadis. Like they could kill Jadis, but Jadis has a file left at the CRM, which obviously that's so debatable as well. Like I know they're saying that, but I'm like, can we trust Jadis? Like, did she actually do that? I don't know. Maybe she did, but with Jadis, she's the character that she's somebody that whatever she says, you absolutely cannot trust. You really cannot trust it. Like she goes back and forth all the time. We know that about her. So maybe this is true. And I could see her setting up something like this. And so, yeah, we'll have to see where they go, because that's the thing. Rick would side with Michonne on all of it. But the reason why he can't is because of what Jadis is saying. So how does Michonne solve that? When Rick says that, what is Michonne's response to Rick? And that's what I'm really, really curious about. I'm really curious about what their plan is going to be. I know that Jadis is going to be after them, I think, in episode 5. So I could see in that episode, maybe their plan is to maybe kill Jadis, or maybe they want to get her into a certain location to talk with her and be like, you need to just let us go. And maybe they really try to like get through to Jadis, like, please just let us go. But again, there's a lot of people who know about Rick and Michonne, and that's why I just view it like, I don't think there's going to be a way where they just get away, right? Like, there's not going to be a way where it's just they go back to Alexandria and the CRM are just going to leave them alone. There is no way, because they really want to keep the CRM secret. Rick and Michonne knowing about all of this is really not a good thing. So I don't know where they're going to go, but I think that what's likely going to happen is there's going to be some stuff with Jadis that happens, but they're going to have to go back to the CRM, and maybe they need Jadis's help. Maybe that's where they're going here. Maybe they try to take Jadis away because they're like, you know what? We need your help to take down the CRM. And maybe that's where they're going, and maybe they get Pearl Thorne's help as well, because Pearl Thorne was kind of with Rick, although she's going away from what Okafor wanted a bit because she's getting a lot more power, so maybe that results in her death. I'm not sure, but I wonder if Jadis helps Rick and Michonne out eventually. Like, could that be where they're going? I'm not entirely sure. You know, Rick and Jadis, I don't want to say they're on good terms, but they do work together, right? Like, they do actually work together in this place, and I could see this being a thing, right? And so maybe that's where we're going here for the finale. And again, like, that's what's so crazy about all of this is like, where is Major General Beale in all of this? Like, I know I talk about this a lot, but it's because he's supposed to be the big villain, and I'm like, we're talking about going into episode 5 and 6, and like, he's not really a part of it, though. Like, not really 6. Like, I'm assuming he's going to be in the finale. For the next 2 episodes, he probably won't be in them, but for episode 6, for sure, I think he's going to be in that episode. And I mean, again, if Jadis does die, and I think it would be a really awesome ending to the season, it's a perfect way to wrap up everything in this season that has happened, right? Like, you have Rick and Michonne fighting back now, this and that. Jadis died. Maybe Alexandria is not safe anymore. Like, I don't know where they're going to go. And that's the thing. Episode 4, they're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff. It's a Rick and Michonne episode, but they're going to give us a hint at what's to come for episode 5, right? In terms of what their plan is to deal with all of this. Because are they just going to run away? Are they just going to keep running away forever and ever? No, right? So maybe they're planning to like go back to Alexandria and take everyone out. So maybe they have to go somewhere to communicate with Alexandria and be like, you all have to leave, right? I don't know if that's going to be the case though. So I don't know where they're all going. Like, I love that. I love the fact that it's so hard to predict everything here, but Rick and Michonne, obviously that's like the biggest, part to this whole entire thing. And I just love the shots in the trailer where we do see Rick and Michonne actually, like, again, it looks like they're fighting walkers. There's probably CRM soldiers in here, I'm assuming, though it actually probably just looks like walkers, which to me, Rick and Michonne killing walkers, like in episode 3, incredible. I got almost goosebumps watching that scene. I was just like, man, we haven't seen this in a very long time. Like, it was more the music in this scene as well. Just incredible. We do have a shot here at the very end of the trailer where we do see a helicopter outside, and the helicopter is obviously searching for Rick and Michonne. I do think that's going to be, again, I talked about it a little bit earlier, but I think at the very end of episode 4, we're going to have the CRM show up and Rick and Michonne are going to have to take them out. And I think it's going to be really, really incredible. Like, just really incredible scenes. Just where does that go eventually, right? Like, I think they're probably going to take them all out. They're going to be forced to leave. There's still that car chase scene that's supposed to happen, so I think they're gonna eventually go into a truck or whatever, that yellow-green truck or whatever that is, and just drive away. And then Jadis will be there, and then that's probably gonna be how episode 4 ends, because it has to have a cliffhanger in some way. So I think it's gonna be something like that, and then we'll see where they go for at that point. But episode 4 looks absolutely incredible. I cannot wait to watch this episode. I'm going to rewatch episode 3. I have to, just because episode 3, I think, is worth watching 2 or 3 times, probably 10 or 15 times. Like, it definitely is worth watching a lot because it's probably one of the best written episodes on The Walking Dead period. And think about episode 4. Everyone's saying that one's the best one by far, right? And it's going to be nominated for Emmys and all of that. Like, I am just so fascinated in this episode. And I think, like, there's been sort of an idea out there that the only reason why it's a limited series and sort of how they're talking about it is because they want it to get nominated for awards, like Emmys and all that kind of stuff, right? I don't know if that's true, but, it is interesting. If it was that, even if it did get a season 2 and it was still a limited series, though, it would qualify for things like that. And I wonder if that is sort of the thing, and that's why we have a Rick and Michonne moment here. Denai Guerrero wrote the episode as well, so she's really big in just, the entertainment industry. Like, obviously, she was in Marvel and all of that, and so her writing an episode like that, I just feel like for the people at the Emmys and just all of that, I think that they'll notice, and especially because I think you have to make like submissions and all of that. And I just think that could be why it's been really talked about as like a limited series thing, and why I think episode 4 is really on its own, because you're just going to be focusing on sort of the characters and what they're going through, right? Oh, I'm so excited for this episode. I've been waiting for this one for a long time now. But anyways, definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.